Hey everybody, we're on location at San Jose State. I'm Mike Keneally from Dethklok, and you're watching ACtv. This is the last day of the tour, the Dethklok Tour 2009. We've been across the U.S. and back. It's been a fantastic tour, 7 weeks on the road with Mastodon. I'm wearing their hoodie, and Converge and High on Fire, 4 really different kinds of bands, but everybody going out there rocking as hard as they can, audiences losing their minds, me having the time of my life. Everyone's really enjoying themselves. All the people in all the bands are fantastic guys, and we're all really just having the time of our lives. Kind of sorry to see it end. Tonight's the last night, so... I'd say what really got me interested in music, what really hooked me early on when I was very, very young, was the Beatles. And when I was 9 years old, that's when I heard Frank Zappa for the first time, and that's when I first realized that music can get very, very interesting and peculiar. And I fell in love with all kinds of real different sorts of music. And then later on, when I got the chance to play in Frank's band, that was absolutely a dream come true for me. And then when Frank's band was done, I was left with the thing of what happens next, because my dream came true right at the beginning of my career, and then it's just been a progression of interesting projects one after the other. I've been real lucky to work with Steve Vai and now with Dethklok, and make a bunch of my own records and just keep busy, keep making music. What I primarily learned from playing with Zappa was what I learned was how to lead a band more than anything. Was that he was a very inspiring and motivational band leader, and he always cut to the essence of what he wanted to hear and what he wanted to get done, and he didn't mess around, and he just knew how to use his skills and his personality and his knowledge to make a large group of musicians come together and work as one unit, and that was very inspiring to me. And in every band that I've ever been the leader of, I've utilized things that I've learned from Frank in just a million different ways. Well, all the music for Dethklok is composed by the Dethklok mastermind, who's Brendon, and he's the guy who created the television show Metalocalypse. He writes the show, he voices most of the characters, and he also writes all the music. The Dethklok album, so what you're hearing is Brendon on voices and guitars and bass and keyboards, plus the magnificent Gene Hoglan on drums. So when it became obvious that there needed to be a live Dethklok to replicate some of the music from the TV show, that's when Brendon got a hold of me and my bass player, Brian Beller, and asked us to be half of the live Dethklok experience. But it's the music all originates in Brendon Small's incredibly fertile and creative mind. Well, there's the thing that's interesting about playing Dethklok music is that the whole guitar is tuned down a major third, and for me the challenge is that 99.9% of what I'm playing on the show are parts that are from the record that Brendon originally played. So it's just like when I played with Steve Vai and had to learn Vai guitar parts to play in unison or in harmony with him. You really have to kind of get inside the mind of the person whose band it is and just understand the way that they approach the instrument. With Steve, it was a question of realizing that he is so detail-oriented about every aspect of creating a sound with a guitar, and that if you're going to bend the string, you have to bend it at exactly the same rate and exactly the same amount that he does it, or it's not going to sound right. And with Brendon, it was just understanding his vision for what this crazy, brutal metal music is supposed to sound like and how it's supposed to be played. And that involves very specific things about the way you alternate your picking, and the way you mute strings, and the way you pinch harmonics, and where you pinch the harmonic, and again how far up you bend, and just you try to form this undeniable sound, just this block of brutality that pulverizes audiences when they hear it. the only advice that I ever give to anybody who gets into music is to not stop, because the only way that you're going to develop any kind of an individual voice of your own, or a talent for playing that is going to be useful in somebody else's band, is to just keep at it until you have something that is unique to you, a personality and a style to your playing that nobody else ever has, and that only comes through time. And there are going to be times where it just seems like no matter what you're doing, you can't get past this roadblock, either a creative roadblock or a technique roadblock that just seems like that you've hit the wall. And my best advice at that moment is put down your instrument and go outside, get away from it for a little while, even if it's getting away from it for 5 minutes, or if it's getting away from it for 5 months. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your development is to not push it right at that moment, because chances are you're getting in your own way in one way or another, and you just got to step out of the way, go see a movie, hang out with your girlfriend or whatever, but just like get away from the instrument, and when you come back to it, I have a feeling that things are going to go a lot better for you. Yeah, right now I got this limited edition Jackson Randy Rhoads instrument that is absolutely beautiful. I'm really loving playing that through a Rivera amp rig, and gorgeous Dean Markley strings with customized string gauges for maximum brutality, and the minimal effects. Pretty much, I've got a Digitech Harmony Man harmonizer and a wah-wah, a tuner. Volume pedal, but my guitar tone is pretty direct and just sort of classic, for the most part, just guitar through an amp sound. That's what I like. I play with other guitarists like that use a lot of effects. Brendon is using a good amount of effects. In my own band, I've got another guitarist named Rick Musalam who plays with a lot of effects. So I find when I've got another guy in the band who's covering the effects thing, that frees me up to just see how many different sounds and tones I can get just from the way I play a guitar, just from the interaction of fingers on strings and on the fretboard, and that's where I try to get a lot of my effects from, is just through playing. Oh, well, we have unusual capacity to experience Spinal Tap moments with this thing, because we're synced up for the entirety of our 1 hour show. We're synced up to a video that's playing on a big screen behind us. And Gene Hoglan, our drummer, is hearing a click track in his headphones that keeps us in sync with the visuals. But occasionally something goes wrong, and the click track goes out of Gene's headphones, and we find ourselves out of sync with the visuals. He's such a magnificent drummer. His sense of time is so unerring that there have been times where his click track was gone for a minute or more, and when it came back in, we were still on time with the visuals. So that's kind of freakish. But last year when we were playing in San Diego, we actually lost the video feed while we were playing, and it just started playing a random video from whatever was showing on the in-house TV system at the House of Blues at that moment. And I remember in the middle of this huge brutal metal song we were playing at the time, that there was a huge close-up of Mary J. Blige that came up on the video screen behind us. And you've never heard a metal audience turn on a dime so quickly. They were really, really confused. That got back in order soon enough, though. But there's always things going wrong here and there. But you just try your best to work through it. Hey, it looks like we're wrapping it up here on ACtv. Thanks very much. If you get a chance, please check out my website, which is Keneally.com, and also RadioKeneally.com, which is streaming my music 24 hours a day. And yeah, if you get a chance to check out a Dethklok show or a Mike Keneally show at any time in the future, please stop by. I think you'll have a good time.